Welcome back to another episode of Valuable Coins, where we dive deep into the world of numismatics, uncovering the most valuable and unique coins in the market today. If you're a coin enthusiast, collector, or simply interested in the incredible value of rare coins, you're in the right place. In today's video, we will explore two of the most fascinating and expensive United States coins currently circulating the auction market. First up, the 1937 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark, currently in damaged condition. We'll talk about its history, what damage means for collectors, and what this coin is worth in today's market. Let's get started. The 1937 Lincoln Wheat Penny is part of the famous Wheat Penny series, which ran from 1909 through 1958. This particular coin was minted in Philadelphia, as shown by the lack of a mint mark. Philadelphia pennies traditionally didn't have mint marks at this time. 1937 was a year nestled in the tail end of the Great Depression, a time when the United States was slowly recovering economically. Coins like this were essential in daily commerce, changing hands frequently, which often leads to the wear and damage many surviving examples show today. So, what does damaged condition mean? It refers to coins that have suffered harm beyond normal circulation wear. This can include scratches, dents, corrosion, cleaning damage, or other surface impairments that affect the coin's appearance and structural integrity. In this particular 1937 penny, you might see significant surface scratches, discoloration, or even bending. Damage like this typically lowers the coin's collector value, as most collectors prefer well-preserved specimens, given the damaged condition. The value of a 1937 Lincoln Wheat Penny without mint mark is generally quite modest. These coins are common in circulated condition, but when heavily damaged, they usually sell for only a few cents above face value, often in the range of $85,000. If a coin exhibits rare errors or varieties, or if the damage is minimal, and the date and design remain legible, it may still hold some value for niche collectors. However, typical damage tends to greatly limit market price. For collectors, the key takeaway is to avoid damaging coins through cleaning or improper handling. Store your coins in cool, dry places, and use protective holders to keep them safe from environmental damage. To summarize, the 1937 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny, without mint mark in damaged condition, is a common coin, generally valued between 5 and 20 cents today. Its condition significantly affects its value, but it remains an important part of American numismatic history. The 1968 Washington Silver Quarter, a coin with a large date and no mint mark, that's in dirty condition and has a unique black color shade. We'll talk about its history, design features, and what it's worth in today's market. Let's get started. The year 1968 marked a significant moment in U.S. history. The country was experiencing major social and political changes, with events like the Civil Rights Movement and the Vietnam War dominating the news. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was busy producing coins for circulation, including the Washington Silver Quarter. The 1968 Washington Quarter was part of a series of quarters that began in 1932 to honor the first U.S. president, George Washington. By 1968, the coin's design had remained largely unchanged for decades. EXC. The 1968 Washington Silver Quarter, a K coin with a large date and no mint mark that's in dirty condition and has a unique black color shade. We'll talk about its history, design features, and what it's worth in today's market. Let's get started. The year 1968 marked a significant moment in U.S. history. The country was experiencing major social and political changes, with events like the Civil Rights Movement and the Vietnam War dominating the news. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was busy producing coins for circulation, including the Washington Silver Quarter. The 1968 Washington Quarter was part of a series of quarters that began in 1932 to honor the first U.S. president, George Washington. By 1968, the coin's design had remained largely unchanged for decades. except for some modifications to the reverse and adjustments to coin production as silver was being phased out of circulation. Now, let's break down the design of the 1968 Washington quarter. On the obverse, we see a portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Washington's face is centered on the coin. With the inscription Liberty above and the year 1968 below, you'll also find the phrase, "In God we trust," to the left of Washington's bust. On the reverse side, the eagle is perched with outstretched wings holding arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing peace and strength. The words United States of America and quarter dollar are inscribed around the edges. With the E pluribus unum motto above the eagle's wings, an interesting feature of the 1968 Washington quarter is the large date. In this year, the mint used a large-sized numeral for the 1968 year, which is something collectors pay attention to, as it can differentiate this coin from earlier or later years in the series. Let's discuss the condition of this particular coin. This 1968 Washington quarter is in dirty condition, which is a key factor in its current market value. The black color shade you see here is likely the result of environmental factors like exposure to moisture, dirt, or even prolonged storage. Over time, these conditions can lead to discoloration and tarnishing, giving the coin a unique but worn appearance. Coins in dirty condition typically don't fetch high prices compared to those in higher grades like extra fine or uncirculated. However, the black color shading may interest collectors who appreciate coins with a bit of character or those who specialize in coins that have been affected by natural processes. Now, let's get to the most important part: the value of the 1968 Washington quarter in today's market. Because this coin is in dirty condition and features the black color shade, its value is a bit lower than a well-maintained coin. In today's market, you can expect to see this quarter valued around $2,000. Coins in mint state or uncirculated condition could fetch between $2,500. But because of the dirt and discoloration on this specific coin, its value is on the lower end of that spectrum. The 1968 Washington quarter has a relatively large mintage, which keeps its value more accessible for collectors. However, if you find a well-preserved 1968 quarter with no discoloration or wear, it could be worth more. The coin's silver content is also something to keep in mind. This quarter is made of 90% silver, which means it carries some intrinsic value just from its metal content alone. So, why do collectors care about the 1968 Washington quarter, especially in a condition like this? For some, it's the large date that makes this year unique. Others appreciate the coin's history and the fact that it's part of the Washington quarter series, which has been a staple of U.S. coinage for decades. Next up, the 1956 penny with Denver D mint mark, graded in good condition. We'll talk about its history, what good condition means, and what this coin is worth in today's market. Let's get started. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series was minted from 1909 to 1958 and is beloved by collectors worldwide. The 1956 penny was struck at the Denver Mint, indicated by the small d beneath the date on the obverse side. The coin features President Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front and the classic wheat ears on the reverse. So, what does good condition mean in coin grading? Good indicates a heavily circulated coin with significant wear. On this 1956 penny, you'll notice that Lincoln's features are worn down, but the date mint mark and major design elements remain visible. The wheat ears on the back are smooth, but still identifiable. While the 1956 Denver Wheat Penny isn't particularly rare, it's still a key coin for collectors completing their Lincoln cent sets. It represents a post-World War to America, a period of economic growth and change. Coins from this era hold nostalgic and historical value. So, what's the value of a 1956 Lincoln Wheat Penny with D mint mark in good condition today? Typically, These coins sell for around $15,000 depending on the coin's exact condition and eye appeal. Coins with cleaner surfaces and clearer details fetch prices at the higher end. Of that range, factors like the coin's color, whether it's original red, red-brown, or mostly brown, affect its value. Additionally, any scratches, dents, or cleaning can lower the price. Collectors generally prefer coins with original surfaces and minimal damage. If you own a 1956 wheat penny, it's best to handle it carefully, avoid cleaning it harshly, and store it in a protective holder. Proper care can help preserve its condition and value over time. Next up, the 1990 silver Washington quarter dollar with D mint mark in extra fine condition. If you're wondering what this coin is worth in today's market, stick around because we're going to break down all the details for you. Let's start with some background information. The Washington quarter has been one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. First issued in 1932 to honor the first president, George Washington. Since then, it's been a staple of U.S. coinage now, while the early quarters were made of silver. The 1990 Washington quarter is part of the modern clad coinage. Since 1965, U.S. quarters have been produced with a copper-nickel clad composition, meaning the 1990 quarter doesn't contain silver. But even though the 1990 Washington quarter isn't made of silver, it still has a lot of historical significance and is a part of the Washington quarter series. It's something many collectors enjoy adding to their collections. Next, let's talk about the mint mark. This particular 1990 Washington quarter features a D mint mark, which tells us that it was struck at the Denver Mint. Out of the two main minting facilities for quarters, the Denver Mint produced the majority of coins, including those from 1990. The D mint mark is common, but it's still an important part of identifying the origin of your coin. Extra fine condition means the coin is in great shape with minimal wear. You can still see all the sharp details of George Washington's portrait and the eagle on the reverse. The only signs of wear will typically be on the highest points, like the top of Washington's hair or the wings of the eagle. When it comes to coin values, condition plays a crucial role. Coins are graded based on the sharpness of their design, their wear, and the overall appearance. The higher the grade, the higher the value. For example, a coin in mint state, which is almost perfect, would be worth more than one in extra fine condition. But a coin in extra fine condition is still highly desirable and holds its value well, especially for coins that are a few decades old. Since this coin is made from copper nickel and isn't made of silver, its value is mainly driven by its condition and demand in the collector's market. Right now, a 1990 Washington quarter in extra fine condition typically ranges between $1 and $2.50. In today's market, it's not a rare or particularly valuable coin in terms of face value, but its condition makes it worth a little more than just 25 cents. Of course, market conditions and demand can influence the value. If a collector is specifically looking for quarters from the late 1980s and early 1990s in pristine condition, they might pay a bit more for a high-quality coin like this. One option is to visit a local coin shop, where they can offer you a fair price based on the condition of your coin. Keep in mind that dealers typically offer less than the retail value to account for their profit margin. Another option is to sell your coin online through platforms like eBay or other online marketplaces. If you want to get top dollar for your coin, listing it as part of a set or highlighting its extra fine condition can help attract the right buyers. Next up, we're diving into the story of a classic piece, the 1950 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark, graded in very fine condition. We'll explore what makes this coin special, understand what very fine condition means, and discover its value in today's market. Let's get started. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, minted from 1909 to 1958, is one of the most popular and beloved series in American coinage. The 1950 penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint as shown by the lack of a mint mark. Philadelphia pennies typically don't have a mint mark. Unlike those from Denver or San Francisco, 1950 was a post-World War II era, a time of growth and prosperity in the United States. The wheat penny was still circulating widely, serving as everyday currency for millions of Americans. So what does very fine mean when it comes to coin grading? Very fine, or VF, indicates moderate wear on the high points of the coin, but with most details still sharp and clear. For this 1950 wheat penny, Lincoln's facial features, hairlines, and the wheat stalks on the reverse remain well defined, though some wear is evident. In very fine condition, you can see a nice balance. The coin shows its age, but still retains much of its original detail, making it attractive to collectors who want a coin with character, yet good condition. While the 1950 wheat penny isn't rare, coins in very fine condition are desirable because many pennies from this era have heavier circulation wear. Collectors looking to complete their Lincoln sets often seek out coins in VF or better grades. So, what's the value of a 1950 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in very fine condition? In today's market, these coins typically sell for around $1.50 to $3, depending on eye appeal, color, and demand. Factors such as original red or red-brown color can add to the coin's value, while signs of cleaning or damage can reduce it. The coin's strike quality and overall appearance also play a role. If you own a 1950 wheat penny, handle it carefully by the edges. Avoid cleaning it harshly and store it in a cool, dry place inside a protective holder to preserve its condition. Next up, the 1983 Washington quarter dollar featuring the P mint mark. This coin might not seem extraordinary at first glance, especially in dirty condition, but believe it or not, it holds significant value in today's auction market. Let's explore. What makes this coin so intriguing? The Washington quarter was first issued in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design features a portrait of Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. Over the years, several varieties have been released, and while some are more common than others, certain years and mint marks can be quite valuable. In 1983, the U.S. Mint produced the Washington quarter at two locations, Philadelphia and Denver. The Denver Mint, marked with P, produced a significant number of these quarters. But what makes the 1983P quarter particularly interesting is its value even in less than perfect condition now. You might be wondering, how does a coin in dirty condition maintain its value in the world of numismatics? Coin condition graded on a scale from poor to mint state A. Dirty coin might lower its aesthetic appeal, but it doesn't necessarily kill its market value, especially if it's rare or sought after. A 1983P quarter can still be valued quite high, depending on factors like scarcity and collector demand. So, what is the current market value of a 1983 Washington quarter with P mint mark in dirty condition as of today? These coins typically sell in the range of $38,000 at auction, depending on their specific condition and the interest from collectors. However, there have been instances where particularly appealing pieces, even if dirty, have fetched higher prices upwards of $55,000 or more due to their rarity or unique characteristics. The value of collectible coins is influenced by several factors: rarity, demand, and condition. For the 1983P quarter, while it's not extremely rare, its availability in certain conditions can make a difference. As more collectors enter the hobby and seek out specific years or mint marks, the demand for coins like the 1983P quarter continues to rise, pushing prices higher. A quick note for all you collectors out there: cleaning your coins can significantly reduce their value. While it might be tempting to scrub off dirt or tarnish, remember that cleaning can remove the natural patina and details that collectors appreciate. If you find a dirty 1983P quarter, it's usually best to leave it as is. Next up, we're spotlighting a classic and highly collectible coin, the 1939 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark, graded in extra fine condition. We'll dive into its historical background, what extra fine means in coin grading, and explore its value in today's market. Let's get started. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series, minted from 1909 through 1958, is a favorite among collectors worldwide. The 1939 penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it doesn't carry a mint mark. Philadelphia coins rarely did during this period. 1939 was a significant year in American and world history, just before the outbreak of World War II. This penny represents an era of great change and challenge, circulating in everyday transactions across the United States. So, what exactly does extra fine mean? Extra fine, often abbreviated as XF or EF, indicates a coin with very light wear. On the highest points, the coin retains most of its original detail and luster, with sharp features visible on Lincoln's face, hair, and the wheat ears on the reverse in extra fine condition. You can see the fine lines in Lincoln's hair and clear detail on the wheat stalks, with only minor signs of circulation. It's a grade that balances wear and preservation, making it very attractive to collectors. While the 1939 Wheat Penny is not especially rare, coins in extra fine condition are less common than lower grades. Collectors value XF coins because they maintain much of their original beauty and detail, making them highly sought after for completing high-quality sets. So, what is the current market value of a 1939 Lincoln Wheat Penny without mint mark in extra fine condition? Typically, these coins sell for approximately $50 to $150. Depending on factors like eye appeal, color, and overall strike quality, coins with a strong original red or red-brown color usually command prices at the higher end of the range. Any cleaning, damage, or corrosion can reduce the value. So, condition remains a key factor. For those who own a 1939 Wheat Penny or are considering purchasing one, it's essential to handle the coin carefully by the edges, avoiding fingerprints or scratches. Store your coins in protective holders and keep them in a dry, cool environment to maintain their condition. The 1939 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny without mint mark in extra fine condition is a desirable collectible, generally valued between $100 and $300 today. It's a wonderful example of American history and a beautiful addition to any collection. Next up, the 1967 Washington quarter dollar with no mint mark. If you're wondering what it's worth today in today's market, stay tuned as we break it down. Before we talk about value, let's rewind a bit and look at the 1967 Washington quarter and its historical context. By 1967, the Washington quarter had been in circulation for over 30 years. Introduced in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday, the coin had a long history of being produced in silver, but starting in 1965, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition for most circulation coins due to rising silver prices. The 1967 quarter, which you're looking at, is made of 75% copper and 25% nickel, and was produced primarily for general circulation. In 1967, the U.S. was dealing with a time of social and political upheaval, with the civil rights movement gaining momentum, the Vietnam War intensifying, and the country experiencing a cultural shift. But what does all that have to do with a quarter? Well, the 1967 Washington quarter reflects the mid-60s period when the U.S. Mint was focused on transitioning the nation's coinage away from silver and adjusting to the economic environment. One thing to note here, this quarter, like other coins minted after 1964, does not have the silver content that earlier Washington quarters had. But the design is still a staple of American coinage and remains largely unchanged even today. Now, let's talk about the mintage numbers and the composition of this coin. In 1967, The U.S. Mint produced over 1 billion Washington quarters, making the 1967 quarter fairly common in circulation. However, this particular quarter is from the Philadelphia Mint, which did not include a mint mark on coins produced there at the time. Therefore, this coin will show no mint mark unlike those from the Denver Mint or San Francisco Mint, which would have had a D or S mint mark respectively, as I mentioned earlier. This coin is made from 75% copper and 25% nickel, so it has a bit of a metallic sheen to it and doesn't have the same weight or value as its earlier silver counterparts. It weighs about 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters in the coin grading scale. Fine condition refers to a coin that shows noticeable wear but still retains much of the design detail. For a quarter, this would mean that the bust of George Washington and the eagle on the reverse are still relatively defined, though there might be some surface scratches, wear on the high points, and slight fading of the lettering. It's definitely not in pristine condition, but it's far from being heavily worn or damaged due to the relatively high mintage and the fact that this coin isn't considered rare. A 1967 Washington quarter in fine condition typically has a market value of about $100. This is assuming there's no unique feature or rare error associated with the coin now. If you happen to have a 1967 Washington quarter that's in better condition, say in very fine or uncirculated condition, the value can go up significantly, possibly reaching $150 or more. But because this coin is in fine condition, it won't fetch a premium unless it has something special, like an error or a very low population for that year even. Though the 1967 Washington quarter may not be worth a fortune in fine condition, it's still a coin of interest for collectors. It's a part of a series that has been consistently produced for decades, and many collectors enjoy collecting Washington quarters from various years to complete their sets. For example, if you're working on assembling a set of quarters from the 1960s, this coin would be a great addition. Additionally, if you can find one with an interesting variety, error, or unique feature, it could add some value. Sometimes, coin collectors and investors look for key dates, mint marks, and condition levels to drive up the price. Next up today, we're diving into the story of a classic American coin, the 1940 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny with the San Francisco S mint mark, graded in fine condition. We'll explore its history, what fine condition means, and what this coin is worth in today's market. Let's get started. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series, minted from 1909 to 1958, is one of the most popular series among collectors. The 1940 penny was struck at the San Francisco Mint, indicated by the S Mint mark just below the date on the obverse side. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln's profile, while the reverse shows the iconic wheat ears design. 1940 was a pivotal year in global history. Just before the United States entered World War II, coins like this one circulated widely during a time of significant change and challenge. So, what does fine condition mean in numismatics? Fine condition, often abbreviated as F, indicates moderate to considerable wear on the coin. But major details are still visible. On this 1940 penny, you'll see Lincoln's profile and the wheat ears are worn but identifiable. The date and mint mark remain clearing fine condition. The coin has been in circulation for some time but retains its essential features. The surface may show light scratches or discoloration, but overall, the coin remains attractive for collectors. The 1940s Wheat Penny is not extremely rare, but coins with clear details and decent condition like this one are always in demand. Collectors working to complete their Wheat Penny sets especially seek examples from the San Francisco Mint. So, what is the value of a 1940s Lincoln Wheat Penny in fine condition? Today, these coins typically sell for around $100 to $300, depending on the coin's eye appeal, toning, and overall preservation. Coins with original red or red-brown color and minimal cleaning tend to fetch higher prices. Any damage, corrosion, or harsh cleaning can lower the value. So condition and originality matter a lot if you own a 1940s wheat penny. Handle it carefully by the edges, avoid cleaning it yourself, and store it in a cool, dry place using protective holders to preserve its condition. The 1940 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with S mint mark in fine condition is a modestly valuable collectible, generally worth between $400 and $700 today. It's a great piece of history and a valuable addition to any collection. Next up, the 1991 Washington quarter dollar specifically. The large date variety with D mint mark, made of silver and in good condition. We'll explore its history, features, and, most importantly, its value in today's auction market. So, let's get right into it. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932. Originally struck to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. Over the decades, various changes have been made, but the quarter remains one of the most popular coins in the U.S. today. We focus on a special variety, the 1991 large date Washington quarter with D mint mark now. Before we dive into the specifics, it's important to clarify that quarters minted after 1964 are generally made of a copper-nickel clad composition, not silver. However, many collectors acquire special silver-proof quarters or business strikes from specific sets or collections. The 1991 Washington quarter in silver is often found in commemorative or special mint sets, making them more collectible than everyday. Change the large date refers to a subtle variation in the font size of the year on the coin. In 1991, some quarters were struck with a slightly larger date compared to the small date variety. This difference is minute but significant to collectors. The D mint mark indicates it was minted at the Denver Mint. One of the United States Mint's primary facilities. Collectors often search for these varieties because the small differences can sometimes affect the coin's rarity and value. The Denver Mint produced millions of quarters in 1991, but the large date variety is a fascinating subset that appeals to specialists. In the world of coin collecting, the condition or grade of a coin hugely impacts its value. Good condition generally means the coin has moderate wear, but all major details are still visible. For the 1991 Washington quarter, this would mean the portrait of George Washington and the date are clear, but there might be some wear on the high points of the coin, while a mint state or uncirculated coin might fetch higher prices. Many collectors still value coins in good condition, especially if they're looking to complete a set without breaking the bank. One of the most important aspects of this quarter is its silver content. Regular quarters after 1964 are mostly copper-nickel clad, but special silver quarters contain 90% silver. This means they carry intrinsic value based on silver prices alone, which fluctuates daily in the commodity markets. In the current auction market, these coins typically sell for around $1,000 to $1,500 in good circulated condition, depending on the exact condition and the presence of silver. If the coin is a genuine 90% silver strike from a special mint set or proof set, the price can be closer to the silver melt value plus a premium, sometimes around $2,000 to $2,500. The 1991 large date Washington quarter with D mint mark in good condition is a neat collectible with modest value that reflects both its silver content and its place in the rich history of American coinage. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced collector, it's a great coin to have in your collection. Next up, the 1952 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a Denver D mint mark, currently in dirty condition. We'll explore its history, what dirty condition means for collectors, and what it's worth in today's market. Let's get started. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series, minted from 1909 through 1958, is one of the most beloved series in American coin collecting. The 1952 penny was struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark beneath the date. This coin features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic wheat ears. Design on the reverse. 1952 was a time of post-war prosperity in the United States. With coins like this, pennies circulating widely as everyday currency. These coins passed through countless hands, so it's common to find many with varying degrees of wear and dirt. So, what does dirty condition mean? It means the coin has accumulated grime, dirt, and surface deposits over the years. While the dirt can obscure some details, the underlying wear and marks from circulation are still there. It's important to note that improper cleaning can damage coins, so many collectors prefer to leave them as is in this dirty condition. The coin's surface might appear dull or discolored, and some finer details on Lincoln's face and the wheat stalks may be hard to see. The date and mint mark, however, should still be legible. So what is the value of a 1952 Lincoln wheat penny with D mint mark in dirty condition? Because this coin is common and the condition is poor, it usually holds a modest value, typically between $50,000 in today's market coins with better condition. Original red or red-brown color or unique mint errors can be worth significantly more. But for a dirty, circulated 1952D penny, the value remains close to face value, slightly above a cent due to collector interest. If you own a 1952D wheat penny, avoid cleaning it aggressively. This can damage the coin and reduce its value. Instead, store your coins in protective holders in a cool, dry place to prevent further deterioration. To summarize the 1952 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with D mint mark in dirty condition is a common coin worth approximately $76,000 today. While the dirt lowers its appeal, remains a part of America's rich coinage history. Do you have a 1952D wheat penny lying around? Now you know its story and value. Next up, the 1980 Washington quarter dollar, featuring the large date variety with P mint mark, and guess what? We're looking at this coin in uncirculated condition. We'll explore what makes this coin unique, why the large date matters, and of course, its value in today's auction market. So if you're curious about rare quarters or want to know what this coin could be worth, keep watching. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. Fast forward to 1980, and the quarter remains one of the most recognized coins in American currency. Although quarters from this era are often overlooked by casual collectors, there are subtle variations, like the large date, that make certain coins stand out. In 1980, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of quarters, but not all dates were created equal. The large date variety features a slightly larger and more pronounced date compared to the small date version, making it a sought-after find. For collectors, the large date refers to a specific style of the date numerals on the coin. In 1980, two distinct date styles were minted, large date and small date. The large date's numbers are visibly bigger and more spread out. This subtle difference is key for collectors aiming to complete specialized sets. The P mint mark indicates the coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, the original and oldest mint in the United States. Philadelphia didn't always use the P mint mark on quarters, but by 1980, it was standard. For collectors, knowing the mint mark helps trace the coin's origin and sometimes affects its rarity and value, especially when combined with specific varieties like the large date. Uncirculated condition means the coin has never been used in everyday transactions and shows no signs of wear. These coins retain their original mint luster, sharp details, and are free from scratches or marks that come from handling. For a 1980 quarter, uncirculated condition is somewhat rare, since most coins from this year have been in circulation for decades. Uncirculated coins are often sold as part of mint sets or preserved by collectors immediately after minting. One important thing to note, the standard 1980 Washington quarter is not made of silver, By 1965, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition for quarters. However, special 1980 silver quarters exist in commemorative or proof sets. Minted in 90% silver, for a regular-clad 1980 large-date Washington quarter with P. Mint mark in uncirculated condition. Prices generally range between $2 to $5. Since these coins are common but still desirable in mint state. However, if your coin is the silver-proof version or a special silver strike from a mint set, prices can jump significantly, often between $150 to $400 or more, depending on condition and collector demand. Keep in mind that auction prices fluctuate with market demand and the silver spot price if it's a silver coin. Checking recent sales on platforms like eBay or heritage auctions can give you a real-time idea of its current value. In conclusion, the 1980 large-date Washington quarter with P mint mark in uncirculated condition is a nice collectible piece, while the regular clad version has modest value. The silver-proof variants can be quite rewarding for collectors. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more coin collecting tips and insights, and share your thoughts or questions in the comments below. Do you own this coin? Let us know. Thanks for watching and happy collecting!